We'll be starting in 1 minute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. If you have joined, just hang on for a few more minutes while the rest of the gang join us. I'm just waiting for that, and I'm so thankful that you are here. I'm so happy to see you. Right? It's uh, it's amazing to finally meet you. So let's just wait for maybe a couple of minutes before we get into the what we're discussing today. I can see one of you who has joined. Hi Nivedita, good to see you. So if you can hear me, just drop me a message, or I mean in a comment, and just let me know if you're able to see me clearly, if you can hear me properly. I would love to know. So just drop me a comment here and let me know if my voice is audible. Nivedita, can you hear me now? All of you are able to hear me? Okay, so we'll get started. So for some of you know me and have known me for a while now, but for many of you, I am Anindita and I am a functional medicine certified health coach. And I became a health coach in response to a health crisis in my family, in more specifically my daughter's health issues. Along the way, I learned many lessons in self-care and healing, and came to realize that a mind and body are of course connected, and healing is very much a part of both. So, of course, we are not talking about healing today in particular, but I think for many of us, we seem to be struggling with a lack of time, or at least a perception that we simply do not have the time to do what it takes to take care of ourselves, right? Because as you would know, as a mom, as a busy woman, if you don't take care of yourself well, you really can't be there for your family like the way that you would want to, right? So that's why you are here today. That's why you have signed up for this challenge come training. And what I'm hoping to provide you, and that's the objective of doing this session, it's not just about giving you a few things that you can just sort of do, or a few pieces of technology. Of course, all that is there. A lot of guidance will be provided. But the whole point is also to provide a safe environment, in other words a community where you can actually implement and practice what you will learn in these 5 days, right? So that's the whole point of doing it in this particular manner. So because I'm passionate about empowering busy moms like you to feel more peaceful, to feel more calm, feel empowered to do what it takes to create. And it all starts with creating more time, not only for yourselves but also for your families, right? So this is what this training is all about, and that's why it's called making time for what matters most. So as you go through this 5 days, I want you to focus on the fact that creating time starts with changing your relationship with time. Okay, that's where we typically start. And the reason I know this is because how much I've been able to achieve as a mother, as a health coach, as a solo entrepreneur, is also the way that I have been able to put some systems in place, the way that I have been able to shift my perception about time and how time management actually works. It's not about to-do lists, as you will get to hear soon in this training. It's not about getting as many things as as you possibly can get done. It is about knowing what to do, knowing what is important for you, and that's where this training really comes in handy. And I would like to sort of tell you that you need to believe in the fact that you can create more time. All of us can. We have that possibility exists, no matter how busy your day might look like now, and no matter what your circumstances are. The possibility is there that you can create more time, and that's what we will be moving towards. Because it seems like there is more and more to do with less and less time, right? That's where we are. All of us are actually right now. That no matter how many things we get done during the day, again tomorrow we have a 35 things on our to-do list, and that kind of approach to time management simply doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't work. I mean, it's not extremely effective. It just helps us to remain overwhelmed by the sheer number of things that need to just get done, right? And many things that we let go of, things that are important for us in terms of our health, in terms of our relationship. So that's primarily the crux of this issue. And what happens as a result of just doing of having a haphazard approach to time management is that we unfortunately end up creating a kind of an urgency addiction. What do I mean by that? It means that there are certain tasks which are urgent, and we will delve more into this, in the next couple of days, where we focus on priorities. But I'm just giving you a brief overview right now that the getting some things done which are urgent, and believe me, some of them will be really urgent in terms of genuine urgency, which means that there is an emergency, there is a health scare, especially in the situation that we are all in. There will be genuine emergencies, right? And that's real urgency. But many things are not, like answering the next email, answering the phone call that comes when you're talking to your child, right? Those are urgent, but honestly, are they important? Can they wait? We need to change the way we think about that. So there is a difference between that, and we will be delving into it, because what happens? We get a temporary high from solving these urgent issues, right? And as a result, some of the things which are important to us take a back seat. So that's something that we need to become more aware of. Because at the end of the day, we become more dissatisfied, we become unbalanced and stressed as we sort of, remain in this kind of a mindset. So that's the reason that we are trying to change the way we look at time and change our relationship with time. Because I wanted to ask you a question. And I'll get to that. Before that, for all those of you who have signed up to receive the workbook, well done. It's not compulsory, but whatever I'll be teaching you here, I would like you to implement, because when you see results, that keeps you going, that motivates you, that energizes you, and that gives you the momentum, right? The momentum is extremely important. And we will be sharing small wins every day, like small steps that you have been able to take. And it doesn't matter how small or big they are. It matters that you did something, that you took some action. That's where the workbook comes in. So I would highly recommend it. It's, of course, optional. And for those of you who didn't, I will be sharing again a link below, and you can opt in for the workbook, because you don't need it right now. You will need to go back and possibly take a printout and then, complete your assignment. There will be small assignments. It's like a school days. Simple things that you can do each day as we go along, so that you can mark your progress, right? That's very important. That's what I'm going to focus on in the workbook. So please make sure that you have your workbooks printed out. You can do it whenever you have time later on in the day. And I'll discuss a few things right now about that. And there are winners who will be selected by my team member, who's also in this call, in this session. And she will be choosing one of you at random. One of you have chosen up live and showing up for yourself, right? Because that shows the commitment towards yourself, not to me, not to anybody else, but towards yourself. So I would like to reward you for that, simply showing up and being there. So we will be choosing a winner today as well, and I'll be giving away some prizes as books, some books that have helped me tremendously in terms of helping me organize more my life, organize my time, etc. And a few other things that I will surprise you with later on. So be sure to hang around for that. And there will be, I just wanted to finish a couple of things here. There will be an watch party at 7:30 p.m. today for those of you who can't stick around for the rest of the session or who could not join in, so that we give a chance to others as well. So there will be a winner who will be chosen from that, and a few other things. I will get to that later on. So let me get back to a question that I wanted to ask you. What if? What if you could find a way to get back your power to choose how you spend your time? Because believe me, we all have that power. We have simply forgotten it, right? Life, our experiences, hardship, struggle, sometimes we forget. But my role and my responsibility is to guide you and help you remember that power to choose, okay? And what if you could change the relationship with time itself, right? These are the possibilities that exist in front of you. What if you realize that knowing what you want and getting the right things done is much more important than getting more things done? That's where it's all about getting the right things done. It's not about getting everything done, right? I think that's where many of us tend to get stuck. And believe me, I used to be in that same space. I used to believe that having a very organized and well structured to-do list and schedule and etc. was the key to good form of time management, but it didn't happen because my list never seemed to get shorter, right? And I simply couldn't keep up with it. And all I had ended up was and as I had 2 kids, and then I had more work and more work and more work, things kept piling on and my stress levels kept increasing. So I am with you, right? I have been there, and this is what I think most of us end up feeling. But this is not exactly how we need to do things, and that's where we are coming to today in terms of this training and in terms of the workbook. So I want to keep it very simple for you. I want to make it very simple for you. So ask yourself, and I want to ask you this: if you could do only one thing with your life, what would it be? Right? These questions might seem hard, and it's okay if you don't know the answer, right? Because sometimes it may have been a while we thought about all these things. So it's okay if you don't have an answer for yourself right now, but it's a good thing if you started asking yourself, right? That's where we are. So ask yourself, if you could only do one thing in your life right now, what would it be? That will give you a lot of answers in terms of where your life is going right now and how things are, right? So this is just the beginning. Remember, we have a long way to go. And I want you to think about the following statements now. So now I want you to figure out what is your relationship with time. Okay, so that's where we are now heading towards. So I'm going to read out a few sentences, see which ones you can identify with. Okay, so let's go. Which statements do you most relate to? You feel rushed or out of control at times during the day, right? The second one is you feel distracted from the task at hand. The third one is that you feel fatigued during or at the end of the day. The fourth is you feel worried about getting everything done. The fifth is you feel stressed about your day. The sixth one is you feel time pressure while working. The seventh one is like you feel that you must multitask to get everything done. And the last one is that your to-do list never seems to get completed. If that is where you are, you need to change the way you look at time, your relationship with time. Okay, and believe me, all of us can identify with at least one of these statements. So the point is not to become perfect. That's not a point at all, but the point is to increase our levels of awareness and start working on these. On the other hand, okay, I'm going to read out a few other statements and see if you can identify with any of these. So the first one is, do you feel in control of your day? The second, do you feel energized throughout the day with normal fluctuations? All of us have these fluctuations. Do you feel focused on the task at hand, right? Do you feel confident and know that you can complete what you need to in the day? Do you feel that you have plenty of time rather than just enough time to get everything done, right? The next is, do you feel calm and fulfilled at the end of the day? And do you feel mindful and present during these activities? And do you feel that you've accomplished a lot during your day, like whatever you wanted to get done? So the second lot of statements tells you if you and I'm I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to identify with at least one or more of these statements, because it's not either or, right? We can move between these two groups because there will be days when you'll be productive and there will be other days when you may not be. So that's absolutely normal, right? So don't stress out about that. Don't judge yourself and don't blame yourself for where you are right now. What I want you to do is keep an open mind and start becoming curious of where you are right now, because that's where you have to start. So Michael Hyatt is one of those productivity gurus, and he has written an amazing book called Free to Focus, and that is one of the books I'll be giving out as a prize one of the days. And he said productivity is not about getting more things done, it's about getting the right things done, right? So that's where we are headed towards. So today is the start of a different way of thinking about time and of course productivity. And I hope by the end of day 5, you will have a completely different picture altogether, right? And a lot of tools in your toolkit. So moving on from here, now what I want you to look at life is like a garden, right? I'm sure that you have tended to a garden, or you might have had a garden, or you have a garden in your house. So think about what is important to you in your life garden. So think of your life as a garden and think about what is important to you. So whether it's your family, whether it's your health, whether it's your career, whether it's relationships, music, what is important to you in your life garden, right? And get realistic about the kind of plants that you want to see in your garden, right? Because when we don't pay attention to the health of the soil and to what we want to see, a lot of times our garden gets overgrown with weeds, right? So that's something that we want to avoid. So just thinking very simply in terms of a garden, what comes up for you? And when we don't do this kind of exercise from time to time, what happens is that we end up not doing things that are important. So which might mean not spending enough time with your family. It might mean not getting to do what you like to do, right? It might mean that not being able to have fun. We sometimes forget to have fun as we grow up and as we have kids, and we forget that fun is a big part of life and play, right? And not doing the things that we love. So think about it. I want you to just think about it. You can use your workbook to jot down your thoughts, and I really encourage you to do that. You don't have to do that right now. And see if you can come up with the top 5 values that you want to work on, right? The top 5 things that you want to focus on. So it can be relationships, career, music, hobby, mindfulness, 5 things, not more than 5. And there is a part in the workbook that I have shared with you where you can do that. And this is what your workbook looks like, right? So I want you to get a copy today. I don't know whether it's reversed. It might be. Then I'm sorry. But there is an option there where you can put down the list of 5 plants that you want to see in your garden. So, just go through that, right? And the other last thing about today, this is the last part of the training, is that I want you to do one exercise. And again, it's part of the workbook, so don't worry about it right now. I want you to, and this is something that I want to share that my clients and in my health coaching practice say is, transforms their perception. Okay, it's a simple exercise and it transforms the way they think about choice or about having choice about what they want to do. And I want to give that to you as well. So just changing one word, right? Typically what happens is when we need to do something, when we need to get something done, whether it's taking care of our family, our kids, in some job that we have, some project we're working on, whatever that we need to get done. I mean, cooking, right? We all end up using the word have. So it's like, I have to do this, I have to cook, I have to take care of my family, I have to do that, so that's something. I want you to replace that word have with get. So there are 3 options I've given you. So I get to, I choose to, and I'm blessed to, right? So think of one thing that you felt like you had to get done today, right? It can be anything. Think about that, write that down in the workbook, and change that to I choose to, I get to, I am blessed to, right? See how changing one word changes the way you look at things. So I'll give you one example. Many times that I feel overwhelmed about, my kids are sort of driving me up the wall. I have a 10-year-old son, I have a 14-year-old daughter, and it happens, right? We all, we are tearing out our hair. I that I have to do this for my kids, or I have to get something done. I change that to I am blessed to. I am blessed to do that for my children. It changes the way I think, and it gives me the grounding that I need, right, to be in that moment. So I think that's a powerful mindset shift that I give you today. You can start today. You can start right now. So this is what I had for you today, right? So just some things to get you started. But I want to leave you with this, and we'll have a Q&A. If you have any questions right now, I will be answering a few of them for another 10 minutes or so. If you might have some expectations, right? And there are many things that you may want to see out of this particular challenge and these 5 days, and they may or may not happen for so many reasons, right? Life can get in the way. Something else can crop up. So I do not want you to judge yourself. I do not want you to blame yourself if that does happen, because there will be some people who will see a ton of results, and we will be sharing our wins, and I'll be encouraging all of you to complete that page of the workbook and put up a selfie or a picture of that in the group that I have created, the private Facebook group. It's a safe space. It's a closed group. And I will be picking a winner from there. There'll be a couple of accountability prizes right at the end of the challenge. So there are a lot of stuff coming up. But the point I'm making is this. I want you to give yourself some grace, and I want you to give yourself permission to try, to show up, right? To simply commit to showing up for yourself for the next 5 days. And if you get the results, of course, that's amazing. And if you need some more time, that's absolutely fine as well. So that's something that I want to let you know, right? There is no judgment here, and we are not going to be judging each other as to who's doing what and how much. And I just wanted to just give you a brief hint here. At the end of these 5 days, if there are some of you who would like to continue to working with me, and if you like, the coaching that I'm going to be doing the next 5 days, you will be getting an opportunity. I will be sharing that with you in the next few days in more details, not today, on the 3rd or the 4th day, and you will get a chance to sort of, to work with me, for the next year or so, maybe more, right? I'll share all those details. So that's it. And I wanted to, so my teammate, I can see, has chosen a winner for today, and I'm just going to quickly see I've got the name right. So Vanita, are you still there? Vanita Vishwanath, are you still there? So Kirtana, my team member, has chosen Vanita Vishwanath as the winner for today. Thanks, Vanita, for showing up. Thank you all for showing up, right? But Vanita, we'll be getting in touch with you separately, Vanita Vishwanath, okay? But thank you so much for showing up. I wanted to now, sort of give you an option for the next 10 minutes or so to ask me if there are any questions related to what I have said, related to, anything that we have discussed today regarding the workbook or anything else. Please feel free to ask me now, right? Anything that you think wasn't clear, or because typically the questions that I get asked is that can I do this, right? I think that's somewhere that a lot of us get stuck. I mean, it's good to hear, and you will be hearing more such tools, more such resources, but we all usually end up thinking that I will never get to do this, right? I will never be able to take out the time, right? My life is my life is tough. I have these kind of limitations. I have kids, I have my in-laws to take care of, I have so many things which are going on. I don't think it's possible for me to see the transformation that probably I am, sort of telling you that it's a possibility, right? And I get that. And as I mentioned earlier during the training today, that yes, there are times in our life when our lives are an emergency, which was in my case, right? My life was an emergency in 2013 when my daughter was in the ICU. That's where my own journey towards health coaching started. And that year, honestly, I did not have time to do anything else, right? We were in the hospital for a month, and thereafter also, just to get my daughter back on her feet, took almost 6 months to a year. So there are those times in your life where it will be like an emergency. It will feel like that. So that's okay, right? But I'm not talking about those times, right? So, and that can happen again. I mean, that can happen in the future. That can happen with the COVID situation that's going on. But I'm not talking about those days. I'm talking about on a day-to-day basis, the life that you're living right now, right? Because that's where you have the power to choose. That's where you have the power to change. So that's what I'm talking about. So I'm not so, and that's where we can understand better, because it always starts with us. And actually, that's one of the things I'll be discussing on day 4, that how it starts with us during that time. Okay, I think Kirtana has asked. Okay, I think one of you has given a question. Thank you, Kirtana, for adding that. Yes, so the question was that what if I feel all of the 8 options? And I believe the 8 options that you are talking about are the ones that I mentioned, the first 8 options, right? Which is rushed or feeling out of control, which is distracted, which is fatigued, worried about getting everything done, right? Stressed, under time pressure, and to-do list never gets completed. First of all, I wanted to let you know before I answer the question is that you are not alone in feeling like this. I wanted to let you know that there's nothing wrong with you, okay? Because I think that's something that, we can, because it feels lonely, it feels like we are the only ones with this kind of an issue. That's not true. And that's one of the reasons I have formed a closed Facebook group so that we can share some of this. And you will see that in a safe space and community like this, that you are not alone. So that's the first thing I would like to offer to you, right? That you are not alone in feeling like this. Whether you are feeling 7 things out of those 8 or all 8, there's nothing wrong with you. Having said that, what I would say is that it's always wise to start with where you are right now. Okay, you can't change what happened yesterday, even a minute ago. You can't really, you don't really have control over what's going to happen in the next minute, right? In the next hour, in the next day. Honestly speaking, we have much less control than we think we have. The only thing that we have control on, and that's where I want you to start, is with yourself. What I mean, and we will be discussing on, especially on day 4, I'll be discussing a lot on this particular topic because I think it's key to also, creating more time in our life. If you have realized by now, and those of you who have seen the workbook, time management is actually about managing yourself. That's what time management is all about. That's why to-do lists don't work. That's why all the best organization tools don't work if you don't start with yourself. So what I would like to offer you, for the question that you asked, that if you feel all the 8 questions, it is okay to feel that way, and start with where you are. And this training can give you that starting point, that vantage point that you needed to begin, that trigger or that guidance with the tools, right, that you probably needed. And it's one step after the other. And it might feel sometimes very small, that you've taken these tiny, and we call them baby steps. As long as they are in the right direction, that matters, right? It doesn't matter how tiny that step is. It matters that you showed up today, like all of you have, and that you showed that commitment, and you took that step. You took that step of acknowledging that there is an issue and I want to address it. So that's all that matters. So start where you are and we'll work through some of these. This is your starting point. I will be giving you tools to help you to do this at home. Also, the books, some of books I'll be recommending, etc. Right? So all of these will also help you to get going. So any other questions that, I hope that has answered to some extent, right, your query, and we'll be working through some of these. And again, as I mentioned in the group, if you have questions, I would like you to join the group. For those of you who haven't joined, the link will be shared, has been shared before. And any of these kind of personal questions you may not feel comfortable asking on the page, you can ask them, and we will be discussing. I'll be going live on the page again at 7:30 in the evening for the watch party. So for those of you who would like to ask some more questions that you might have, or simply watch the video along with me, I'll be there again in the Facebook page. Join me there, or come to the group and put your questions there. I'll be hosting a couple of resources from time to time. Check it out, join the group. I hope you like the session today. This is just to get you started. It's only day 1. We have more things coming up on day 2, and tomorrow it's about goal setting. And I want you to sort of keep an open mind, because we'll be doing goal setting in a different way than what you have been doing so far, right? So that's where we are. So thank you for joining me once again. I will see you here tomorrow at 2:30.